My name is Rebecca Schleicher. I have a husband named Jim Schleicher, and my daughter is Lydia Schleicher. And then we've also now added wonderful Finnegan Schleicher to our mix as well. I heard about Autism through Facebook, looking for children who needed some extra help, who were autistic. That had us reaching out because I am a dog lover by nature, have always had dogs, but to have one that could help Lydia obviously hits at a lot of different levels of my heart. So there really wasn't a lot more that had needed to happen for me to reach out and find out more. Noticing it is kind of a hard thing in terms of child development, because really from the moment she was born, she was a very dissatisfied child. She cried most of the day, and when I say most, she cried to the point of screaming sometimes 20 out of 24 hours a day. There was some pretty obvious signs pretty early on that I didn't really understand. Her speech was a little behind, her walking was a little behind, so some milestones were not being met. I'd say from birth there was probably some signs there. Transitions, moving from one activity to another, the ability or inability to communicate her needs, and having her needs met or unmet, causing huge frustration. For her, she's very social, and she thrives being social. And that energy is so wonderful, and it's so joyful, you know, in the outside world. That same height and level of energy is also the other way at times when it's angry. So that can be very harmful. It's a matter of trying to find a way to keep that energy safe. I would say my original concern was cost. That was just something that was immediately came to my mind as, gosh, you know, how much would we have to raise, or how much would it cost us to do? Including another dog to the family is also something that I took very seriously. Wanted to make sure that that was something that made sense for us and made sense for Lydia. I think everything was really, really well done. I think everything was really easy. I think everything was very doable. I think that the process in general was wonderful in terms of the visits. It was hard to give him back those couple of weekends we had him. He's wonderful. He is an incredibly peaceful, goofy, and joyful vibe in my home. With Lydia, he is my safety net. With his tethering her, it's just sort of better than holding her hand, because whenever I've been holding her hand, there is always that feeling of she can pull right out of my hand, because she can. She can't pull out of a tether. So she wears a Velcro belt that tethers around her middle, and it tethers to his vest. We would go to Marquette now with him tethered, and she walked across 17th Street on the crosswalk with Finnegan. He accompanied her into speech therapy, laid in the room, small room. He laid against the wall, and she calls to Finnegan. She asks for Finnegan. She wants Finnegan on the bed. She wants Finnegan around her. The difference with Lydia in terms of noticing his presence in the house, I don't believe was a coincidence. There was just a different effect for her. And there was just a different vibe, just, you know, different vibe in the house, in a good way, once he had moved in. I really look forward to traveling. I mean, that feels like just to have her see things that are outside of, you know, the state. I look forward to shopping, malls, movies, out to eat. I mean, the list kind of goes on. I'm anxious to be able to do things that were unpredictable enough that it made it too worrisome to do. It's exciting to think of those things. You know, I will always still have to think through situations and find those exits and have that kind of mindset. But to have Finnegan as my little superhero just makes things so much different to think about, and that is great. I mean, we're still at the beginning of this, so there's just a lot of dreaming still yet to do. I would tell you to look at what your journey and your experience have been to date with your child, and to know that you have to try. You have to push through, and to know that the end you want to get to is to make your child successful and to give your child the best shot that they can. In this world that we live in the world they live in, you have to try. It doesn't mean that you're signing on for everything. You work with this group. You work with them, you talk with them, you communicate with all of them, you communicate with all of us. And I think that it's completely fair to apply and speak your fears and speak your concerns and keep moving forward and keep communicating everything moving forward and keep just being honest. But you have to keep trying, and you have to keep trying every solution you can for those kiddos, because to find the magic that happens isn't one thing. You find the combination of things. Never let fears of what the process would be hold you back. Just apply and keep communicating about it. And you have families to call. You have families to call and ask questions too. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's okay too. Any therapy that is out there for your child and is proven to work, you have to try. You have to check it out. There's just nothing that should be left unturned for your child, including, most of all, this. I mean, my gosh, most of all. First, before anything else. A dog, this dog, it's amazing.